talking about, the dissolution of, America. And you're talking about, oh, come on, what's the tune?
Ian Ball's one of the singers with Gomez, who I very much love, and this was his solo release just before Christmas last year. The album is called Who Goes There, and the first track is Sweet, Sweet Sleep.
I'm sorry if Sammy has defaced the landscape. That's Sammy's choice on this week's Steve Show. I'm afraid we have to cut it short because of the news. Sammy, what was the track?
Oh, hello there. The track was Sweet Sweet Sleep, and it's off his album released just before Christmas, Who Goes There. I'd like to dedicate that to Mick Finley in loving memory.
Okay, and apologies again to the listeners for the story that preceded that involving... Well, I didn't want to discuss it. It was horrific.
My apologies to you all.
Yeah, I just don't know what you were thinking, but there we are. No, I mean, I know you've got your fan base, and that's where we've got to appeal to them, the younger demographic, those that like, rude things on the internet, people falling down holes and the like.
My mum and dad loved it, that's all I'm going to say.
I know, and that's the most disturbing element of it. Okay, we'll be back after the news with some tunes from the Pigeonhole, plus some other chit-chat. Who cares? You've probably switched off by now.
On digital.
From 1978, Pump It Up, Elvis Costello. It's a Steve Show, BBC Six Music with me, Stephen Merchant, and our special guest, Dave Gorman. And Dave, before we crack on to just listening to some of the big tunes that are out at the moment that you should have an opinion on.
Yes.
Obviously, I don't know when you start tuning into the show today, when you arrived, but very much the raison d'etre of Steve Show 2008. We are providing a one-stop shop for people so they have an opinion on things that are out there, that they should have an opinion on, that they know what's going on culturally, that they can drop into their friends. You were just mentioning then an amusing video you'd seen online. It's exactly the sort of thing we should be telling people about. Sounds a bit blue. Maybe we shouldn't talk about it in too much detail. Could you summarise it in a kind of cleaner format?
There is a very, very funny American comedian called Sarah Silverman, who is dating the host of one of their talk shows, Jimmy Kimmel, and she's recorded a special little video of a song she's singing to him, which also features Matt Damon. I won't say anything else. You should just go to YouTube or any of those other places which have online videos, search for Sarah Silverman and Matt Damon, and you will find it, and it will make you laugh.
Jolly good. So that's exactly the sort of stuff that you can be mentioning, to friends, passing on.
Oh, there's another. I know. It's more 4 at 10 o'clock on Tuesday as well. There's another.
Don't think I wasn't going to give another plug to the show.
Okay, so
I'm an absolute pro, Dave. Don't worry about that. That's coming up towards the end of the show when everyone's switched over to other stuff.
Okay, great.
But yes, no, Dave Gorman's programme. In case you are waiting and you've got to go out to the shops or something, you've got to get some salmon for tea before Antiques Roadshow. It is on at more 4. It's on Tuesday.
You really do have delusions of grandeur about your own audience, don't you? Just your view of them going to get salmon before the Antiques Roadshow. And then I've just seen some text messages that come in based on Sammy's story. It's two different audiences. They're not the same audience.
Are the texts saying, yes, we've all done that, of course, that's what we all do in order to entertain ourselves?
People enjoyed that story. Yeah. And I don't think the people who enjoyed that story are buying salmon and watching the Antiques Roadshow. Somehow, I don't know.
I'd like to think we're a broad church, Dave. Sorry that your opinion of the Six Music listeners is so narrow.
If they are buying it, who knows what they're going to be doing with it during the Antiques Roadshow.
Absolutely. Okay, so we like to just listen to some of the... We normally just delve into the Pigeonhole and listen to some music from perhaps slightly more obscure artists, but I'm thinking now, in case this is the only show you listen to on the radio all the week, you need to hear the songs from the big names. You have to form an opinion on them that you can have a conversation with someone in an indie club at some point this week. So first up, forthcoming single from Nick Cave. Released on the 18th of February, that's a forthcoming single from Nick Cave, Dig Lazarus Dig. It's a Steve Show BBC Six Music, just gathering the opinions of our little panel here so that you yourself can formulate one, pass it off as your own in the future. We'll start with Dave Gorman.
I haven't seen a video for this, but I'll tell you what would be a brilliant video. You know, the backing vocals where the band were going, "Why don't you dig yourself?" If that was done by the Muppets.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah,
that would be the perfect video for this.
Do you feel that it would be top-level Muppets, Kermit, etc., or some of the kind of lesser-known Muppets?
Oh no, I know the big ones which are actually kind of men in suits.
Right.
Those kind of
the big kind of bear-shaped ones or the monster ones. Yeah,
that kind of thing.
Maybe none of the Muppets that they sort of introduced when they tried to revive the series.
No, none of that
terrible.
No,
it was like some purple ones.
Real Muppets. That's all I mean.
Muppets. Yeah. Okay, so if Cave's listening, great idea. Maybe you've not shot the video yet. Think about it. Great idea from Dave Gorman. What about the song though?
It reminds me a little bit of the Alabama 3 album that reminded me of Nick Cave.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Right, again, it's not an opinion though, Dave, really.
It is. You're in your indie club. What do you think about Nick Cave? You know what? It reminds me of when the Alabama 3 started sounding a bit like Nick Cave.
Perfect. All right, Sammy, you are a big Alabama 3 fan. Do you share that view?
I felt the Alabama 3 vibe, but see... fans of Nick Cave are going to hate me for this, but I think Alabama 3 do that better. I'm not saying Nick Cave isn't brilliant.
Very
but that
dodgy.
one song,
Ouch.
just that one song, not his back catalogue, do that kind of people in the background trundling along, talking over music, just that one kind of that. And I hate it when people try and cram too many syllables into too few notes. Dig yourself, Lazarus. It was just too. I think that would have angered Rufus if he'd have been here. He's not a fan of things like that.
Okay, so strong opinions there from Sammy. Harry, are you going to divide the vote?
I quite enjoyed it. I quite like Cave's ballads, but I can't listen to a full album of them. It's too much for me. But I like that. I like him ranting over kind of a dirty, grindy backing, which is good. Referring back to the other two here, Dave, I've spent the last month buying up my old Muppets albums on vinyl, which I had when I was a kid, and they are fantastic.
They are superb, aren't they?
They're absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
And Sammy referring to Rufus, apparently Ruf has a play on Radio 3 tonight at 8 o'clock.
Does he really? Well, that's for any keen Six Music listeners and fans of the show, then you should definitely tune into that. What time does it start?
8 o'clock.
Perfect. If not, perhaps, is there a Listen Again feature?
Do Radio 3 do that, Ben? More than likely.
More than likely. Once again, more informed content on this show. It's more than likely you can listen to it again in the week. Okay, so let's get your opinion now on this forthcoming single from Goldfrapp. I have to say that she's never particularly won me over, but this one I'm quite charmed by. A&E. New album Seventh Tree, that's Goldfrapp with A&E, which is out on the 11th of February, although I believe if you're online now you may well be able to download it using some kind of MP3 download service. Many are available. I think we all know which one we're likely to use. And so there we are, Goldfrapp, who I suppose has taken a slight departure there from her usual more upbeat electronica and gone with something a bit more folky. Is it something that was tickling your fancy, Harry?
I preferred it to her usual stuff, yeah. Funny enough, I saw Goldfrapp years and years and years ago supporting our good friends the Bronze Age Fox. Played a tiny little gig in a room above a pub in Bristol, and on that day they said, oh yeah, we've got special guest, she'll never go anywhere.
Yeah,
much like the man in the Kit Kat advert from about 15 years ago. But no,
heck of a reference.
Yeah, cheers. No, I really enjoyed that. I like that. I thought it was very pretty, and it could be dinner party music, as we suspected the old Whatsits might be.
Nothing wrong with that. Dave, you strike me as a man who rarely has a dinner party. Too busy are you romping over the world and perhaps getting yourself involved in some amusing adventures. Would you slap that on? Should you have maybe having a screening on Tuesday when your TV show is being aired? You're having a little party afterwards just to celebrate with a few friends. Would that track make it onto any kind of playlist?
No, it wouldn't. Not for me. It was sort of I started reading some of the listeners' emails during it because I wasn't. It was washing over me.
Wow, you really must have been bored.
It was just washing over me, and it was, it doesn't offend me at all, but it doesn't excite me either.
Just so that people get a sense of Dave, and so therefore your opinions on this last tune we're going to play. Are you someone who prefers the abrasive rock, or is there a place in your collection for the more acoustic folk?
I have quite a lot of folk in my collection, but that was it was neither folk nor pop. It was this sort of wishy-washy thing in between somewhere, and I'd rather it was someone with an acoustic guitar and a finger in their ear being folky.
Sure. Okay. So once again, Sammy, it comes down to you. Are you going to side with Harry or Dee?
When you said you liked this, I knew for a fact the reason you liked it was because it's not Goldfrapp.
Sure.
Real Goldfrapp is real electronica. It's strict machine. It's ooh la la. It's ballsy, brassy, proper, girly, grimy electro. And that is, what's that? That's nothing like that. And it did just wash over you like a tepid tide. It's just
like a tepid tide.
Yeah, just not
the worst kind of tide.
It's not cold. It's not making you go, ooh. It's not warm making you go, it's just.
But not everything can kind of, inflame your guts and have to make you dance and bop around and stick
no, but
things
music has to. Music has to do something to you. It has to make you go, oh wow, that's really emoting something in me. Or I really want to put my shoes on and dance. And that was just like. You could have been anywhere.
I just quite like it when she says backless dress. I find that quite sexy. She says it in a slightly backbreaky way.
I'd stopped listening to the words. I just started thinking, wonder what Enya's up to.
Sure.
And that's not something that music should make you do.
Enya, are you listening? 64446. What are you bloody well up to, woman? We have not heard anything from you for a while. Pull your finger out, love. Stop having babies. I suspect that's what you're up to. That's normally why I don't want to seem sexist, but normally that's why the ladies stop making albums.
I suspect that Enya is still making lots of albums. You're just not on our radar.
Sure, well, maybe so. Okay, well, we'll leave you with the. We'll leave you, but in terms of our assessments of new music, we will play this new tune by Morrissey. Most Six Music listeners will have already heard it. I've actually not been listening to radio or listening to new music, so this will be the first time I've heard forthcoming single from. Oh, actually, no, he's already had it out, but it's on his forthcoming Greatest Hits album, which is out on the 4th of February. Here's Morrissey. tomorrow sees the release of a new greatest hits album by Morrissey, and from it there is a new track, That's How People Grow Up. Morrissey, of course, got himself in some hot water of late, I think, by having some controversial opinions about immigration and the like, which he foolishly voiced to the NME, who love to get riled by views on immigration. I know, it's absurd. Him and he just feels like he has to say something naughty. Dave, do you think immigrants should be allowed? No. Do you think Morrissey should be allowed to voice off about? No. That's not even the question.
Of course he should be allowed. Yeah.
Where does Morrissey stand in your opinion nowadays? Is there still a place for him? Is he still a vital force?
There is, and I think that's when I first heard that, I thought, yeah, that's Morrissey. Tick. And then you go, I'm driving my car and I've crashed and broke my spine. It's like a parody of Morrissey.
Exactly, yeah.
But, still, okay, tick, that's all right. And then you hear it 10 times and I start to really like it.
Sure.
But that's kind of just sort of eventually pushes my buttons.
Yes. Like Nick Cave, is there... I mean, you've dismissed Nick Cave out of hand, Sammy, and the new tune by Goldfrapp. What about Morrissey? Moz, is he someone... I mean, what were you, sort of 4 when...
Well, I was born in '86, so when were
so
they
split up? They split up in '87, I think, didn't they?
So
that's extraordinary.
They weren't a kind of, as people of your age, he seems to be a huge. Well, let's be fair.
Slow down. Okay.
A huge part of their upbringing, and that was your voice, and it wasn't that for us. So I only pick bits back and go, well, actually, that song's really good, and I like what he's saying here. And of late, haven't really been enjoying the stuff that I actually thought was quite good. Apart from this crashing his car and breaking his spine, which actually did make us all laugh out loud.
Yeah.
So maybe, Morrissey, lay off the stupidity for a bit. Just stick to the good tunes.
Stupidity there. Morrissey being accused of being stupid. A woman who, of course, who stuck some kind of damp testing device up her bum. No, it's been a very popular story, so we will hopefully get a recap of it next week. And finally, Harry.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, but I think, like Dave said, it doesn't stand up to close inspection. He's just basically rehashing his entire career. So, Let Me Live Before I Die, which was basically every Smith song, pretty much. He's having roused the enemy. He's gonna split up his current band, and he'll take Boz Bora to court, and he'll probably lose. And then he'll write another load of songs about lawyers and judges.
Well, okay, so there you are. I mean, you pick through that, see which of those opinions that you most agree with, and then
maybe use all 3 with different people, see which gets the best one.
Absolutely, and then get in touch. Let us know. Anything from Enya? No, I don't imagine.
No, not yet. No.
Enya's got in touch. So anyway, I'm not sure that we've necessarily stepped up a gear. As I say, I was hoping that the show would slowly become a sort of a cultural melting pot into which we could pour interesting news items, cultural opinion, and so on. I didn't even get to offer my opinion of the new film Cloverfield, which I went to see last night, and I like to think that my opinion counts for something. And as I was exiting, who should be coming in? X Factor runner-up, Ridian. No. I'm quietly obsessed with Ridian, and a lot of people go, oh, it's Ridian. And quite a small man, I was expecting him to be much more huge and sort of beast of a man. But whereas before, when he's in his suit, he always reminds me of maybe a sort of off-duty Nazi.
Yeah.
But he was wearing a sort of leather, he was wearing leather jacket and so on, and he looked more like a vampire from a sort of cult vampire movie, that look about him. But he is kind of something slightly kind of eerie and chilling about the man. But sure, good luck to him. I don't want to slag him off. Dave, your show is on Tuesday, that's right?
Tuesday at 10 o'clock on Morphle.
And you're the sort of guy who could casually make an appearance on QI and it'll be fine. Is there an interesting little tidbit or fact that someone could impart to their friends in the pub that they could you could think off the top of your head, something that they could just share with them, pass it off as their own?
Relating to anything in particular?
Anything you can think of at all. A tidbit.
Ridian was not in The Lost Boys.
Okay, good. Well, here's what I learned over Christmas from the QI book. Nelson never wore an eye patch on it. I'm sorry, there's no time, Sammy. Back next week. From November 1979, Joy Division, of course, and Transmission. It's the Steve